what we do here is local trees. If we can get a hold of local trees, in which you can generally do that pretty easily, we will take the local tree, and a guy dropped this tree off. This is honey locust. It's local, not too far from the neighborhood actually. And the very first thing we do is we cut it, we prep it, and we paint it in wax. Because right now this has wax on it. And why do we do that? To keep the moisture in. We want the moisture to stay in. Otherwise, what will happen?
Dries out.
Cracks.
It will crack and dry out, and then the piece is no good. So we'll take a tree, and the goal is to get it from this stage to this stage as quickly as you can. Because this came from this tree.
Wow.
And you can see here's the core of the tree, right? Where's the core of the tree? It's right here.
Wow.
So this literally comes from here.
It's amazing how you have the knot still preserved. And
Exactly.
it's amazing.
And see that core, the core of our pieces,
Yeah, here.
ooh, there's some of those trees have cores that just dance at you. And you want to, boy, you're gonna, when you carve them, yeah, like this is an Alaskan birch tree.
Ooh, wow.
Look at the core of that
Amazing.
tree. Isn't that beautiful, the core? Whether you have a branch in it or not, that whole, and this is to utilize the whole tree.
You're capturing every ring. all the way around.
Absolutely.
You
Oh
can
yeah,
see-
whole life of it.
you get to know how old it is, what summer was a good summer, what was a bad summer, by the width of it.
Wow.
The tree tells so much of that story. And how to take it from here to here is also a beautiful event. Because all you do is spin it, right? The very first thing you'll do is you'll spin it this way, and you'll make this outside shape, and then you'll make this little foot, and then your tool inserts into here, and you put it around on your machine, and now you can go in here and carve that out. And the goal is to make this about an inch thick. You paint it inside of here, wax, and how long can I leave it like that? Just give me a guess.
How long do you leave it like that with the wax?
Just like this.
Maybe a month?
Indefinite.
Or is it indefinite? Well, it's
Indefinite.
Well,
Not, really?
Yeah.
With the wax?
Because you-
Okay.
Because
The
you put the
world-
wax to protect
It's
it.
the wax there.
Because the wax is
Seal.
going
And what happens is the wax does what? It allows the moisture to dry, come out of the tree, but how quickly?
Very
Really slow. And so when it's really slow, you hope, and the majority of times it works, you hope that when it's done, it didn't crack. Sometimes it does, and that's okay. That's okay. But if it doesn't, you got a chance. So, these pieces, when we say we have 1,000 pieces in storage, that's not an exaggeration. There's probably more than. I know downstairs, there's at least 300 downstairs in different shapes. They can be from this shape, they can be like, this is a backyard
Well,
piece.
that's a beach. Look how beautiful.
Ooh,
They can be
There's
to
a
this
hummingbird
shape,
in it.
that is beautiful.
or they can be
Little cherry baby.
to this shape. This tiny little thing, right? And this little piece
They
comes,
come from little
comes
cherry
out of little-
girls.
these little cherry little bumps that are on trees. That's what these come
Little
out of.
baby bowl.
Yeah. So the sizes, the colors, look at, is that art? That is an incredible piece of work.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Those are exciting. Ah, that's so cool. So if I grab the bowl underneath here, and here's a bowl that we turned, was in Alaska. This bowl was turned on January 29th, 2006. This is 11 years old. When we turn this, it will be perfect. It's completely dry. It can't warp. You've got plenty of forgiveness, so we've got lots of shape in, and it's perfectly healthy. You can take any of the pieces, there's probably more underneath there. Oh, it's
You
like,
go through these general phases of
they're like your
development.
friends. They're like your really good friends. You remember the trees, you harvested them, you made your pieces, you put dates on them, and some of the pieces, oh my goodness, we'll turn a piece and go, yeah, I remember that tree. I remember when we did this and that. And so when you build it, when you make something out of it, like this tree right here, this guy, here we are at the YMCA in Prattville, Alabama. And a good old southern boy looked at me and at the Y and said, "What are you doing here?" And I looked at him, I said, He goes, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "I'm a wood turner." And he goes, "Well, you want to know me?"
Okay.
I said, "Why?" He goes, "'Cause I'm a logger, and we're out in the swamp right now." I said, "And what are you harvesting?" He said, "Tupelo." I never had Tupelo. Tupelo is carving wood. Like the really famous Europeans carved in Tupelo. I thought that was like on one island in the middle of Iwo Jima somewhere. Nobody's ever seen it, right? And they're harvesting Tupelo in Alabama, in the swamp. Well, Tupelo is called black gum. Okay, so we got a hold of Tupelo, and I said, that's why people love to carve in Tupelo. It's just, it's a beautiful experience. But at the end of the day, long story short, we take the tree, we make it to this shape. We let it sit for as long as it wants to sit. And we have 1,000 pieces, and the idea is to combine all these thousands of pieces and then pick out the friends that you want to work on. Then you take it from this shape, you turn it again. You spin it again and you sand it, and you leave the parts that you're going to carve. Whatever your goal is, you make it up as you go. And that's where your imagination comes in. What is it that I want to do? Once you get it baby butt smooth, you begin your carve. You carve, and you take all the pieces that you left, whether it be petals or each bead is carved one at a time. I mean, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, so it starts like this band all the way around.
And then
And
you
then
take,
each one
then you
is
take it
carved.
and you make one and you make one and you keep going.
So
all
they
the way
use a
around.
turning tool to make this band,
Wow.
and then a hand carving tool to make the beads.
And you just sit there and you just carve. You carve on the top, you carve on the bottom, because when you carve our pieces, everybody does this. They pick them up, they look at them, and for God's sakes, I don't know why they turn it upside down. They always look at the bottom. And I said, if they're going to look at the bottom, let's give them a tray. Let's give them a treat. We're going to give them a flower. And so, like particularly this flower, do you see what's happened to that flower?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You see there's like a petal. Petal came off, right? When you take a flower and you pull a petal, what do you say? He loves
She
me.
loves me. That's what I said. She loves me. She loves me.
Yep.
She loves me.
He loves you. And that's what that means. He loves me.